Hi, welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 441, and we're in my studio tonight. I will wait a few minutes before beginning to wait for people to pop over from the pre-chat, and also for people who are getting their notifications right now and taking the few seconds to actually log in. So if you're joining me live, please say hello and let me know if you're crafting tonight. Let me know what you're doing. Let me know if you have any questions. Hi, Diana. Hi, Barbara. Lisa, Diane, thanks for joining live. Hi, Lucy. A few people here already. Glad to see some familiar names. Hi, Deborah and Judy. Good evening. Hi, Christine. Hi, Millie. Hi, Lisa. Yeah, if you're joining live, please say hello. If you don't join live and you watch the recorded version, that's okay too. I know most of you do watch the recorded version. Please also feel welcome to say hello or ask me any questions or let me know what you're working on too. Hi, Kim. I missed some names. Hi, Millie, Martha, Karen. Thanks for joining live, everybody. All right, well, welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode, I just had the number. I think it's 441. We are in my studio tonight. We have had hideous storms all day long, and they've come and they've gone and they've come and they've gone, and I just didn't feel like risking going down to the beach. And yes, well, it's definitely hot outside too, Barbara, but I've been in my studio working all day because I have a new pattern and video coming soon. And so while I'm working on that, I thought this was a good time for a sneak peek because you're going to get the pattern and the video probably within the next 24 hours. I'm very close to finishing the video. The pattern is done, the charts are done, the photos are not done yet, so I have a few hours of work left to do. Let's see, I have a little bit of videoing left to do, all the photography left to do, and then all the layout for the pattern and stuff. So I have several hours left to do. So it probably won't come out tonight, but it'll probably be out tomorrow. Yes, Millie, I have had my 1 month anniversary at the gym today, no, 2 days ago. And we'll be doing my 1 month weigh-in on Sunday, so I'm very excited about that. We'll be taking all my measurements again and weighing in to see what my 1 month results are, so I'm super excited about that. Hi, sweet Melissa and Cassandra and Geraldine. Glad you all could be here. Welcome back. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you the pattern that is not available right now, but will be out tomorrow. And that is the Owen tapestry crochet motif blanket. How beautiful is this blanket? So what this is 2-color tapestry crochet like we did with the Shangri-La bag, but instead of making a bag, I made motifs. And each of the motifs is done in the round with the 2 colors, and then I show you how to join it to motifs next to each other. We'll do a 1-sided join and a 2-sided join to create this magnificent pattern that is completely inspired by Moroccan tile work. And then, so the pattern and the video will show you how to make a singular motif, how to join the motifs on one side, and then how to join on 2 sides. And then at the end of the pattern and the end of the video, I'll show you how to make the gorgeous twisted fringe here. I'm going to have a formula for the amount of yarn used so you can figure out how to make a larger blanket if you want. But this one is 4 squares wide and 4 squares tall, which is how big I wanted it to make my best friend's daughter's baby. For my best friend's daughter's baby, and she's having a boy and she's naming him Owen, which is why I'm calling it the Owen baby blanket. Isn't it beautiful? So these, okay, and then the other thing I wanted to point out is that I've doubled the yarn for this. So this is a double thickness of Be So Baby yarn. This is colorway Snowflake and colorway Platinum. And so by doubling it, I was able to use the DK weight yarn with a size K crochet hook, which is 10.5 or 6.5 millimeter, and it is so squishy because it's doubled. It's so warm and cozy and squishy. It would be amazing for any kind of an Afghan, but definitely for a baby. Yes, Judy, it's a lot of fringe. So beautiful. Oh, the fringe is gorgeous. It seemed like it was going to be a lot of work, but I got to be honest with you, it went by pretty quickly once I got rolling on it. A couple things I want to mention about this pattern is that if you're going to make it for somebody else as a gift, if, let's say you wanted to make it for a baby like I am, or make a bigger size for a Lapgan, an Afghan, whatever, for Christmas or holiday or birthday, any kind of a gift, or make it for yourself, I wanted to suggest that if you're giving it as a gift, I would highly recommend giving it as a gift with a laundry bag and a bottle of Wrapture. The yarn is safe enough to go in the washing machine, so you could totally put it in the laundry bag and in the washing machine, but I feel like the fringe will be much safer, and the yarn in general. You've made something handmade. You don't want it to get snagged on zippers if it's going in with jeans. You don't want to get stuck on the snappy things on the back of a bra, right? You want to keep all of your hard work safe. So the best way to do that is to protect it in a laundry bag. So I would suggest getting one of the big laundry bags, which will be plenty big enough to put a blanket in there, and give that as a gift with a bottle of Wrapture. I think that would be such a beautiful gift. Or if you wanted to give the yarn as a gift with the pattern for someone to make the blanket, if you wanted to give it as a gift for a crafter, I would also suggest adding these in. That would be so pretty to add as a gift. Sherry Mary Kay, yes, I am live. I wonder if you need to refresh in order to see the live stuff. Maybe you could refresh your screen or whatever it is people do to get to the live. I also wanted to point out that the pattern is going to come with multiple charts. So there's a chart for the single motif, and it'll show you exactly where to change color. So if you don't like reading the line by line instructions, it's going to come with a chart that also tells you where to change color for the tapestry crochet, and then it comes with a chart that shows you how to join the motifs. I think I did a great job on these charts. Don't mind my saying. But I think they turned out so nice. I'm very happy with my work on this. Sometimes charts are easier to make than other times, and it took me a couple of tries to get this one symmetrical and square, so I'm quite proud of myself that it turned out in the end. Yeah, you could put a made by label, absolutely, if you were going to make this blanket for someone else. Those look really nice. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you for your vote of confidence on my chart making skills. I really enjoy making charts very much. It's taken many years for me to get to build my skills up in Adobe Illustrator, and it's been worth the time for sure. Oh, a couple other tips I wanted to mention about making this blanket, and that would be, because we're doubling the yarn for this project, I think it's really important. Make sure that this isn't attached somewhere. This project, okay, I'm still in the middle. So another thing I wanted to show you is that for the step outs for the video, I'm doing them in different colors to show you some other combinations. So this is cherry and clover. Doesn't that look beautiful? Wouldn't that be a beautiful Christmas present or baby's first Christmas kind of a blanket? I think these colors turned out really pretty too. So by doing the red first and then the green, that means that the red is the gray on this one, which is the color A. So that means I would do the fringe in red on this one. But yeah, definitely very Christmassy, and I thought that was kind of fun to do a Christmas in July color theme for the next video. Cassandra just started learning Adobe 4 months ago, and it's not easy. No, it is not. I would highly recommend taking a class. Classes can be very helpful. It would be great for a tree skirt too. In fact, I've thought about that because I'm having to make a bunch of these for the video. I am considering making something different with these instead of a blanket like I did with these. I've thought about either making a pillow or a tote bag, or maybe even a tree skirt, because I don't have a Christmas tree skirt for my Christmas tree, even though I do have lots of ornaments that are all handmade. I thought it might be fun to do a tree skirt. So that's definitely a possibility with my motifs after I finish the video. Does anybody have any questions about what I've talked about so far? I know I've gone a little quick. Oh, and yeah, I was going to mention that if you're going to, or anytime you have a project where you're supposed to double the yarn for the whole project, I highly recommend taking your balls of yarn and winding them into double balls. See what I mean? I took 2 separate balls of yarn and I wound them together as just a hand wound ball together so that they're together. Because now imagine as I'm working one color and the other, if I've got this in a project bag, I'm going to have that much less of a mess with 2 ends than if I had 4. Imagine if you had all 4 balls just rolling around in your bag. It can be a nightmare trying to keep them in line. Is it possible? Of course it is. Can you be diligent about keeping everything in line? For sure. But it is just that much easier if you do this first. And can you still get a mess if you're not diligent about keeping things straight? Yes. But like I said, between the 2 options, I find it to be so worth the time to wind them into center pull balls first. Yeah, you could do it on a ball winder too. Sometimes I like doing things by hand. I get this urge to do things old school at times. So, oh, I think Cassandra's still talking about Adobe, taking a class for free. Well, that's wonderful. Free classes are good. Yeah, but I was asking if let's see, did anybody have any other questions about the blanket or any of the tips I've given so far on tapestry crochet? Can't wait to show you the video. I think I'm 2/3 of the way done. Are there any, I only use Adobe Illustrator for making charts. I don't know about any others. Yes, Geraldine, absolutely. Anytime you're doubling your yarn, always wind it into balls first, especially if you're going to be working multiple colors. It just cuts down on the amount of mess in your bag and tangles. Definitely. I missed another question. If you want to ask it again, by all means, feel welcome. Hopefully the weather is agreeable and we can get to the beach tomorrow morning. Wouldn't that be nice to do a morning beach? That's my goal anyway. I'd like to get down to the beach tomorrow morning for the podcast. But we'll see what Mother Nature says. Blanket size. I haven't actually measured this yet, but we can do that right now. So the fringe is 3 inches. The squares are 8 inches, so 8 times 4 is 32. This particular one is 32 inches square, not including the 3 inches of fringe on each side, so 32 plus 6. So this one's 38 inches square with fringe, or 32 inches square, not including the fringe. And you may notice that there's a ridge around each square, and that's because of the way that I join them. I join them all with slip stitch join, which you're going to see in the video. And because it has a little bit of a ridge to it, I think that when I wash this one, it will end up laying a little flatter. So it's just this one has not been washed yet. Thanks, Dawn. I love my studio too. I love working in here. Yeah, I like the ridge too. The ridge is going to stay, but I think the blanket might end up being a little flatter. Actually, I think it already is flatter than it was. Maybe just laying it out has helped. It does have a bit of a weight to it. It's so comfy. Oh, I think people are still talking about chart software. Well, good. If people know other suggestions, go for it. I will say that the professional industry standard for graphic design and chart making is Adobe Illustrator. That I do know. But there's always different ways to do things. That I know as well. Yeah, my microphone is caught up in my yarn. Let's see if I can get this separated. Oh boy, got quite a mess here. Okay. I'm kind of stuck in here. All right. Unwind this one. All right, so after this blanket, I have 3 more baby blankets to release, and then it's going to be time to think about what type of patterns to make after that. I've got a little bit of an urge to work on some jewelry, and a little bit of an urge to work on bags. Yes, Deborah, absolutely. I think, honestly, I think anytime you're making a handmade gift, I think a laundry bag and a bottle of Wrapture is always a good idea for a secondary accessory gift to go along with it. I think it's great for any kind of a handmade project because everybody needs stuff like that, right? Everybody needs to know how to care for the handmade items. Using single balls of wool, what weight would work? You'd need to, well, whatever size wool you would use with a K hook, right? So what size yarn would you use with a K hook to make a solid fabric? Would you use a worsted weight? Would you use an Aran weight? I'm not sure. It depends on your gauge and the different ways that you're going to substitute. But you would want to consider this range of hook size and pay attention to the gauge and the pattern to see how that works for you. Hopefully that helps. But yeah, you could do a yarn that's thicker and do it single if you wanted. And you could also do this yarn, do this pattern with a single ply of Be So Baby yarn and a smaller crochet hook. Your squares would just be smaller, so you'd need to make more of them. Oh, bags and jewelry is Marcia's favorite. Good. Hi, Benzie. Yes, I think those are 2 things that are on me, calling my name right now, but we'll see. Unless anybody has any other pressing requests. And then there's a few patterns. I definitely want to keep working on patterns that are on my website that don't have videos yet that I get requests for. So I'll be working on those as well. Oh, Diane, the encyclopedias I'm working on behind the scenes too. The pattern will have all of the yarn information when it comes out. It'll be out tomorrow. Missed that. Beanie hats. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Hi, Vera. Yeah, I did do some amigurumi patterns, and I never published them, did I? Well, I got to get on that too. Deborah likes seeing the samples in my studio. What's my favorite color of yarn? That depends on the day. I mean, that's like someone asked me what my favorite color is, period. Yes, I do so. In fact, when I published 80 handmade gifts last year, there's a whole chapter on sewing in there. If you haven't seen this book yet, this book is a fabulous resource for 80 different handmade gift ideas, including knitting patterns, crochet patterns, sewing patterns, recipes, all sorts of amazing, quick and easy and beautiful handmade gifts that you can give to people all year round. So I highly recommend you checking that out. And in fact, this little collage here is a collage of some of the sewing patterns in this book. Yeah, autocorrect can be horrible, Crystal. It's really difficult to read it sometimes. Other times, not so much. This one is from my newest crochet book called Layers Crochet, and this is the Cora sweater, and it's a wrap sweater done in these beautiful crochet motifs that are square motifs, but they're joined on the diagonal. Can you see how it's the diamond formation of the motifs here? And so then there's some triangle versions and then some square versions of the same motif, so that the lines end up being straight on the edges. And we have a tie in the back here, although I didn't do it. I think adding tassels or beads to the ties would give it a little weight and be really, really cute. But it ends up wrapping in the front and tying in the back. And this particular sample was done in Be So Fresh, which is my 100% linen yarn that's number 2 sport weight. So what that means is you could substitute any of my other number 2 sport weight yarns if you wanted a different feel or a different hand. So Be So Sporty 100% bamboo, Be So Sporty bling with bamboo and pure silver threaded through it. Either of those would give a totally different look to this sweater. Then Be So Soulful, which is my sock yarn. It's also a number 2 sport weight and super cozy and soft. That would be another version that you could do in this sweater, also with a number 2 sport weight yarn. Here's another pattern this is from the Layers Knit book. And this one is done, this is called the Gabrielle, and this is done in Be So Bold yarn, which is my number 4 worsted weight organic cotton and bamboo yarn. And it is a top-down knit cape in this beautiful offset petal pattern. Can you see the stitch pattern in there? It's so pretty. And it's done in one piece from the top down. So you start with the tie. We start with the ties and they're done seamlessly right onto the cape. So easy to make. And both of these patterns have charts and written instructions. And this one comes with lots of different sizes as well. This one definitely has a video so far as well. So that's the Cora wrap cardigan in Layers Crochet. The patterns are both available individually as well. Most of my books that I have independently published over the last few years, most of those are available as paperback books, ebooks, as well as the individual patterns for sale too. So you can find all of that on my website. If you only want one pattern, you don't have to buy the whole book. And if you want the whole book and you buy it from me, you can get it personalized and autographed. And then there's always the ebook option as well, if that's what you prefer. So there's lots of different ways to buy books and patterns on my website. And then most of them have video tutorial support here on YouTube as well. Does anybody have any questions about that or anything else we've talked about today? Do I ever sell my finished projects? Occasionally, I do a sample sale. I've done it, I think I do it maybe once every 2 years. Sometimes it's been around Mother's Day, other times it's been around the holidays. I haven't done one in a while, and as you have seen, I've got so many samples. It's why I had to buy so many of those great organizing bins. It's probably time to consider doing one again. The color of this shawl is sold out right now. This was called Mia's Malachite Meadow. I don't have that color in stock right now. I do have other pretty colors in Be So Bold yarn available right now though. And not to say that it couldn't come back in stock. One thing that I would like to mention about making projects that aren't sized is that you can really be a lot more flexible about your yarn substitution. Even though this was done in a number 4 worsted weight yarn, because it's a top-down lace piece, you could easily substitute a number 1 fingering weight yarn like Be So Fine Bling, or Be So Lush. You just may need to work extra rows to make it the right length, but you could definitely make this a more lacy project by doing it in a thinner yarn. Doing top-down construction in non-sized pieces is actually a really easy way to experiment with substituting yarn. If anyone has any questions about substituting yarn, please feel welcome to ask. I know it's a big subject and we could really go crazy and in depth on it, but even just if you have questions about what I just said, please let me know. All right, well, Christine, maybe you made the wrong size for yourself. You might have to try a different size. Or maybe you didn't get the right gauge. Some people don't like to check their gauge before beginning a sweater, and that's often one of the number 1 reasons why sweaters end up being too big. It's because people like to skip the gauge measuring process. Not only skipping it, but even not doing it properly, like taking a gauge swatch, washing it, letting it get affected by water, then blocking it and then measuring it. And taking those steps in the beginning will usually give you better results in getting the right size. You want to see the back of the Gabrielle cape, I think. Sure, and I can take it off the mannequin so you can see it too. It's actually a half hexagon shape. So without the tie, you could actually make it a half hexagon shawl as well. And you would see the stitch pattern a little better if the yarn wasn't variegated, but hopefully that helps you see it a little bit. So you can see we've got our line of increases down here and our line of increases down here. It's very pretty. So you could wear it as a half hexagon shawl as well. So if you just wore it like this, you could tie it like a shawl, right? But then what I thought was fun with this project is to make those ties at the top edge so that you could wear the whole thing more as a cape and tie it up here. Yeah, butterfly kisses, that's a great idea too. Depending on how big the top is that Kristin made, she could always belt it as well. Belting looks really great on drapey fabric. See, isn't that cute too? I'll stand up so you can see it. I love it as a little cape. It almost looks like a little cardigan that way. It almost looks like a cardigan, especially with the way the yarn drapes and drapes down under your arm. I feel like it looks like a little cardigan that you've tied at the neck. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, this was called Mia's Malachite Meadow. Thanks, Barbara. This is a single pattern on my website called Gabrielle Knit Cape, or you can find it in Layers Knit Book. Thank you. It is pretty. I love this one. It was fun to make too. It's really easy. Once you get going on the chart and the stitch pattern, it's pretty easy to memorize. It's not easy to memorize in the very beginning, but it's easy to memorize once you get established. Okay, get this tied back on. There's not much room back here. Is navy a color for evening wear? Absolutely. I like to wear navy. Sometimes I just think navy is a little less harsh than black. It's just a little softer. Yeah, half hexagon has lots of possibilities. There's lots of ways to drape and wear a half hexagon shawl. Yeah, I love navy. I especially love navy with gold accessories in the evening. I think it's beautiful for evening. Definitely, that's a great question. Always feel welcome to ask me questions about styling and stuff like that. I love talking about styling and colors. Yes, anybody intimidated by knitting should definitely start with some of my videos on how to knit and even the Knit Stitch library. Yeah, something with sparkle for evening for sure. I love gold or silver or metallic of any kind with navy. Oh yeah, Geraldine made the Morgana shawl. That's also a half hexagon. And the Princess Hibiscus shawl is half hexagon. That's another knit one. And for crochet, the Isla Murata shawl is a crochet half hexagon. And the Lover's Key shawl is also a knit half hexagon. There's probably more because I do like doing half hexagon shapes, but there's a few that I just thought of in the top of my head. So you can Google or search any of those pattern names on my website or here on my YouTube channel to find those as well. Does anybody have any other questions? If you enjoy the podcast, please give it a thumbs up. I know YouTube likes to hear your feedback and likes to know if you are enjoying the content. So if you feel so inclined, please give me a little thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so if you'd like to be notified when I go live or when I have new videos up. And share the videos with your friends if you think you know anybody that might enjoy my content. Starch for earrings. Yes, depending on the type of earring that you've made. Some earrings do require starch or some sort of stiffener to stay in shape. That's beautiful. Is there a pattern? I'm not sure which one you're talking about, but yes, there are patterns for everything that I've shown here tonight. You might want to just rewind a little bit when the live stream goes to recording, and there's videos for everything on the screen. Yes, the mandala is a pattern on my website. Yes, definitely. It's called the Serenity Mandala. I've done it in multiple colors. I've got some that are multicolor and then the one in the solid color with feathers glued to the bottom of the fringe. So pretty. All right, if anybody would like to pick a number between 1 and 5, we will randomly pick a quote from one of the Create, Share, Inspire notebooks. Yes, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. Okay, Carrie says 3. Let's grab 3. Here's issue number 3. And let's randomly pick a quote. See what we come up. Oh, I can show you real quick another mandala of that same pattern in multicolors. I have a second one here in my studio even. I actually find it very difficult to decide which one is cuter. I like the solid color up on the wall, and I like the multicolor one too. I think they're both beautiful. Same pattern though. It's the Serenity mandala. It has a video here on YouTube as well as the pattern on my website. I've got a bag stuck to my foot. Okay, we were picking a quote. Back to number 3. Rudyard Kipling. I always prefer to believe the best of everyone. It saves so much trouble. This is so good. It's such a great way to remind ourselves to not be bitter and to not be closed off because of the past. I do believe that people are more good than they are bad. We are more alike than we are different. And you can't let the rotten apples of your past spoil it for your future. I just think it's so much better to give people the benefit of the doubt and to believe the best of everybody. You know, as long as and I always give this same little disclaimer when I say things like this. Know your boundaries first, right? As long as you have good boundaries in place, people can't hurt you. Not in general, right? So have your boundaries in place. Be in a safe place and a good boundary place in your head and believe the best in people. And it is so much easier that way. It's so much easier. So thank you, Rudyard Kipling. Let's read this one more time. I always prefer to believe the best of everyone. It saves so much trouble. Yes, absolutely. Again, because we are more alike than we are different. I love that. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy evening to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed seeing the preview of the next pattern and video coming soon, and some of the show and tell and the tips and tricks and chatting with me and everyone else here. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it this evening. I'm so glad that you could join me. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.